Hello class, this is Professor Quigley, and I know many of you have already hopped into the week one discussion. You're reading about flowcharts and you're browsing the internet and you might be confused. Therefore, I figured, why not just create a flowchart together? Alright, when you are creating a flowchart, the most important thing for you to understand is that a flowchart is nothing more than a series of shapes strung together to represent any type of process that an application follows from start to finish. So therefore, let's learn the first shape is a circle. This is literally exactly what I just said. This represents where an application starts or where it ends. We have what's also called a rectangle. A rectangle represents any process that happens during that flow. Then we have what's called a parallelogram. Taking you back to elementary school with all the different shapes here. A parallelogram represents anywhere you are doing an input or an output. You will often see many people refer to this as anytime you're exchanging data because you're either inputting data from the user. For example, if you wrote an application that says, hey, what's your name? And then the process would be take that name, do something with it, and then output it to the screen where it says hello world. We also have what's called a diamond. In these diamonds represents decisions. You will learn about this later in the course, but basically decisions are what makes applications smart. If you wanted an application to where if this value was true, go down this path, versus if it was false, go down this path. But in order for these shapes to make sense, I say we just go ahead and actually just create one together. So let's go ahead and create an area calculator. So the first thing we're going to do is for anybody that's reading our flowchart, we're going to want to draw a circle and we're going to say this is where the flow starts. Then we are going to do an input statement. So this is going to be our parallelogram. And what we're going to say is get length. Oops. And so the reason why we call this a flowchart is because when you string these together, you'll be able to see from the start, you go down to where we're going to get the length. Then we're going to get width. After we got the width, we're going to do a process. So in this rectangle, we're going to say area equals length times width. String those together. Then we're going to do another exchange of data here where we're going to say, this is a parallelogram here, we're going to say output area. Then we're going to say end. So if you were to, we're also talking about sequence. So sequence basically just means that a program is going to execute one line of code before going on to the second line, and it's going to do everything in order. So sequence means that your application is not going to start right here and then jump down to here, then go to here, and then finish up somewhere down here. That would be complete chaos, and your application would never actually output the right answer. So instead, you start, we're going to get the length. It's a parallelogram, which means we're getting data from the user. Then we're going to get the width from the user. We're going to do a process here. Now that we have the length and the width, we're going to say area equals length times width, and then we're going to output the area to the screen. So why don't we actually build an example together in an actual enterprise grade flowchart and application. So what I have in front of me here is Microsoft Visio. Expensive program. You should be able to get it through Strayer as a student. You should be able to go to their website. But let's build in this chart what we actually just did on paper. An important thing to note, why on earth would I draw this on paper if I had this application the whole time? You might find yourself in an interview one day where they're going to ask you to whiteboard it out. And what whiteboarding means is they're going to hand you a dry erase marker, they're going to describe an application, and they're going to ask you to flowchart on the screen what that process flow should look like. Also, you don't want to spend so much time in Microsoft Visio if it's real fluid and you're kind of making it up as you go. Like you might use Microsoft Visio whenever you're creating that official documentation that you might hold on to one day. But sometimes it's just faster if you're working in a team of developers to stand around the whiteboard and just draw it out real quick. So let's just get right to it. So here I have start, and let me look over here at my notes. So we have start, and then we're going to drag that parallelogram where we're going to say get length. Then we're going to drag another parallelogram onto the screen here. And we're going to say get width. Then we're going to drag our process onto the screen. And this is going to be area equals length times width. And then we'll do our another parallelogram here in which we say output area. We'll draw another circle. Oops, I'll just grab it from over here. And we'll say end. And Visio has these nice little connector tools over here where I could say this will go here. Then I could say another connector where this goes to that one. And I can say this one goes there. So you see how you could look at this and you could actually see the sequence of events that is actually going to occur. You could pretty this up a little bit, and what's nice about Visio is it will actually remember anywhere you move this, it will keep the lines together here, and you can draw them around. Anyways, you could play with that, but I figure if we're going to talk about flowcharts in the week 1 discussion, I'm hoping that this video helped you out. If it helped you out, let me know, because I'm going to make a video in the upcoming days about sequence, and I'm going to keep making videos about things that we're discussing. So if this video was helpful, please let me know. Take care.